What are your thoughts on Leicester at the minute then? Just have a quick look at the results here. Obviously, they managed to turn it around a little bit against Sunderland, but Sunderland have been awful. I think Sunderland have lost like 7 on the bounce now. They've been awful, and they should have had
the bounce, so it is. Right,
7 on the bounce, yeah. They should have won that last game as well. Obviously, you can see them beating Watford, their good result, and then they beat Sheffield Wednesday. Then it all started really bizarrely out of nowhere. Borough, who were out of form, went there and won. They came to Leeds, and obviously we beat them. They won in the cup, which was a really impressive win at Bournemouth. But then losing out to fourth from bottom at the time, QPR, and then Hull City going 2-1 up, and then bloody Leicester equalising. But I mean, when you look at, we've gone through the their fixtures coming up, but you do sort of look. I'm having a look at these, and the next 5 really is what we judge form on. Really, I'm seeing a little bit of a resurgence here.
I don't see there being any problems for Leicester. Seeing out the season. I mean, the interesting thing that we've not spoken about yet is what's cropped up finance wise, isn't it? The last about 4 or 5 days. So I mean, that's a completely different subject, and that's quite confusing, I think. So we don't know whether that's going to have an impact on the final table in the Championship this season, or whether it's something that's going to be carried forward into next year, or what's going to happen, even if they're going to get any points deducted at all. So that's something else as well, just to muddy things at the moment. But keeping that out of the picture, it'd be interesting. I mean, we know this weekend, Connor, if we win by 2 clear goals this weekend, then we're going to be top of the league for the first time this year.
Is it 2? I thought we were on 40 and they're on 41.
Yeah.
If we match them, what happens then? Is it just on wins and stuff? I don't really know.
You're right. You're right. What we're talking about. Yeah. I'm thinking. Yeah, you're right. Actually, if we just get a win, it doesn't need to be by 2 clear goals. I think the points difference is only 2 at the moment, isn't it?
I think it's 1. I think we're on 40 and they're on 41 GD goal difference. So I don't know if that means if we equal.
I'm thinking of points, Connor. Yeah. If we win this weekend, we would actually be 1 point clear of Leicester in the league. Well, I was thinking for a moment. I've been looking at Ipswich's points tally. So we'd actually be ahead of Leicester, and they'd have a game.
What would it go down to there? Interestingly, if you level on goal difference, does it go down to the amount of wins you've got? Is that what it does? I can't quite remember how it does it.
I'm really not sure whether it goes on. I've got a feeling it could be on goals scored for, and then against, and then the head-to-heads in that order.
So
it's a bit annoying when we've beaten them twice over the season and the Championship.
Yeah, it's really.
But I think it does come down to the amount of goals scored for. So if they've scored more goals than us, they'd actually end up being champions.
Yeah, I mean,
at the moment, if you look at goals scored for, the 6 ahead of us. I think that's the case, though.
What stands out to you most about this sort of top 4 then? What stands out to you the most? Is it, Leeds is interesting that you look at the amount of goals scored there, and actually Ipswich and Leicester are tied. But like you say, I mean, the goals against, Dad, when you look at that, it's very, very impressive. And it leads 28. The second to us, I think it is second to us is Leicester. And do you know what's staggering, actually? Goals against, we're all talking about Ipswich. Just have a quick look at Southampton there. 47 goals conceded. That's quite impressive, isn't it?
It is. And Joe, really surprises me with that stat. I was aware of the goal against stat, actually, but it's the goals for, actually the lowest stat of the top 4, aren't we? Scored fewer goals than the other 3.
Yeah.
That's really they're all together, aren't they? Roughly 73, 74 and 74. We've just got 68. If somebody suggested that to me, I wouldn't have believed it. I thought we'd have been way up there.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting.
Quite surprising, that.
Do you know what's also more surprising, Dad? The fact that Norwich have only scored 2 less goals than us.
Yeah.
Which is a bit mental there. But yeah, Leeds definitely not.
And it's, actually, when you look at the league there, I mean, it seems like a massive gulf, and it probably is at this stage. But haven't West Brom closed that gap?
Yeah, I think
they were miles off at some point. I know they played a game more than Southampton, so obviously if Southampton win that, it's still a 13-point gap, but that looks sort of squeezed up a little bit.
And then when you look at just the playoff picture here, I mean, it's definitely split up over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, this gap's massive now, but I think Borough are 3 wins in 3, but yeah, they are 3 wins in 3 there. But if you look in here, look at that. Hull with 4 draws on the bounce, but they've not lost in there. Norwich creep. I mean, we always knew Norwich were going to be there or thereabouts because they always, I think their squad caliber's pretty decent anyway. So like they were always going to creep in. But it does feel right now, doesn't it, that it's Coventry, Hull and Norwich, who I would say are probably, the ones that we thought mid-season. I mean, what are your thoughts there? 'Cause it's going to be one of those three, isn't it? Do you think?
I'll tell you what's really interesting with that, just looking at that part of the league there, is, like you say, Norwich have just managed to creep into that top 6. I don't think they've been there for much of the season. Come from nowhere, but they've got Ipswich, haven't they, on the 6th of April at home. So, I mean, look how tight that is there. So there's going to be a massive, massive effort from Norwich to win that game. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a loss there, even though I'm calling a draw for Ipswich.
Do you know what the big thing for me there is, though, Dad? We've spoken about Norwich and Ipswich. What we haven't really spoken about, interestingly, is the other team that absolutely hates Leeds, and it's Hull City. Obviously, Hull City coming to Ellen Road very, very soon and potentially spoiling the party. I mean, I know Norwich and Ipswich and they wouldn't spoil the party. A loss wouldn't be the end of the world, as we've seen by the points tally, but it's interesting when you look at the rivalry and the severity of the rivalry between Norwich and Ipswich with Leeds and Hull. It's not from Leeds' side, but Hull City certainly do not like Leeds United. So it'll be interesting how up for it they are really on that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at it as well. Would that be Hull in 7th there? I think, Connor. Norwich in 6th. So you've got us in second against 7th, and Ipswich in 3rd against 6th. The way it stands at the moment, so almost identical. But we're at home, and I really don't see that being a problem. I know it's going to be a tight game. It will be tight. Wouldn't be surprised if we conceded there, but we're going to win that match.
I guess it seems like there's quite a few of the teams, if you actually look at the complexity of the top 4 as well. It seems like the top 4 are all playing. They're not games you want. You want to be playing Blackburn. You want to be playing Sunderland. And I think Leeds are, to be fair, or we are at some point. But
what's the highest placed team we're going to play? I think it's Southampton, last game of the season, isn't it, Carl? I don't think we're playing anybody out that table any higher.
Yeah,
we've played everybody.
I think
banana skins. Sorry, we know there are some banana skins, but they're not high placed teams we'll be coming up against.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is for me, it's going to be the dynamic of those playoff racing teams, because the thing is now you get into that stage of the season where all the relegation fodder have got teams to fight, have got places to fight for. Those 3 teams in Coventry, Hull, and Norwich have got something to fight for as well in terms of that 6th position. Because if you look at it now, really, if we're being brutally, it's not just the top 4, but West Brom are sort of in their own little space, really, aren't they? They're completely done. They're in the top 5. So it's that 6, isn't it? That 6th place.
Can you pull up that table again, Connor, so we'll have a quick look at it? If you have a quick look at that, I mean, a lot of the teams that we're playing, the teams that you'd want to be playing at this stage of the season, aren't they? You look at teams that have got nothing to play for. I mean, have a look at Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough probably do, because they're only 5 points off Norwich. So we'll be playing Middlesbrough. We've still got Watford to play, who really don't have anything to play for. I don't see them as in any danger of going down. Millwall, I think, are starting to turn things around a little bit. I don't see there's been any problems for them. Blackburn, possibly, but I still think that they're going to get out of it. So we've actually, when you look at did you say 8-9 games we've got left? We've got at least half of those are teams that are relatively safe or in the middleish part of the league. And they're the teams that you'd want to be playing at this stage if you're battling for promotion or relegation even.
Do you think it is going to... I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, you hear this a lot, but I'm not sure it will come down to Leeds Southampton. I think it could be done by then. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. I really do. I do think there'll be it can change on one game, can't it? It can be a loss for us, a win for Southampton, and then all of a sudden you're down to a gap of maybe 2 or 3 points. And then it could be really interesting if it comes to that last game of the season, if we're in that position, or just a few points separating us. But you've got to say, Connor, I'd be worried if it was the other way around, let's put it that way, through 2 or 3 points, and we had to go down to Southampton and win. But we managed a game like that to stay in the Premier League, didn't we, a couple of years back, where we had to win to stay up. But no, I think we'll be okay. I think it'll be done and dusted by the Southampton game.
And I think we've got something to prove as well. Like, I know it might be done and dusted and stuff, but I want to beat Southampton. It felt like, when we're looking at this season where we've been so dominant in so many respects, doing the double over Ipswich, doing the double over Leicester. But I do remember, and obviously Joe Rodon wasn't available in that game. There was complexities when it came to the lineup and in terms of what Leeds were doing. But that Southampton game, we were absolutely battered. And that's probably the only game really I look back to this season and think, yeah, we were well and truly beaten that day. And it's almost like you kind of want to get that back, don't you? It's like a fighter, isn't it? It's like a fighter loses a fight and, they might go out as champion. They might be champion of their division or whatever, heavyweight boxer. But there's always that niggle in the back of their head that they've got that sort of fighter who absolutely, took them out. Like if it was like Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas or whatever, he'll always have Buster Douglas in the back of his head. He'll be thinking, I need to beat him.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because it's been absolutely top class against Leicester and Ipswich, hasn't it? But yeah, Southampton, that's a bit of an outlier, that one. So I think Farke will definitely be reminding the team, whether it's done or dusted or not, that we owe it to Southampton to beat them on the last game of the season. So I really don't think that's an issue. I honestly, I'm that confident that when it comes down to it, whether we've got it sewn up or not, we'll be winning that game.
How important do you see this weekend as, and do you think Leeds will be able to muster the mentality to get this one over the line?
I really do. Yeah, I absolutely do. And we know it's going to be difficult because Harris is back and he's usually a problem for us. That has been in the past when he's played for them or whether he's managed them. So they're really going to be up for this. They always are. And it's going to be one of those it's going to be a game that's,
terrible.
We're not going to win it by the margin we won it down at their place. That's something to bear in mind, Connor, by the way. When you're thinking about QPR and when you mentioned our record, that's something to bear in mind about what we can do down there. But no, I think he's going to be all over this is Farke, and they're going to be well aware, especially with an international break coming up as well. This is the last game that we've got for the best part of 10 days afterwards. And he's going to be reminding them of that. We're going to say, much first chance. It's going to be a real psychological blow, for Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton to see Leeds at the top of the pile with, the best part of 2 weeks to go before we play next. So, yeah, we're really going to be up for it, and I expect us to win. Don't think it'll be easy, but we'll win.
Yeah, I'm thinking a 2-1. I did a bit of an analysis on Millwall early on. I watched a couple of the games and did something on the Patreon, and it's set pieces again. They are, mind my language, but they're a shite football team when it comes to getting the ball on the ground and being possession based. And I think it's a massive game for Rutter. They don't have the individual quality really to deal with us, but you've got to step up here. And like you just quite rightly said, it's a massive opportunity. This will be. Listen, I'm not saying even if we squander this opportunity that it will be awful for Leeds, but it would really, really, really irk me that we had the opportunity to go top and we didn't take advantage of it against a team who shouldn't be competing with us, really. So it's a massive weekend for Leeds, isn't it? Massive weekend.
It is, and they were in the same position as Huddersfield just a couple of weeks ago, and I know we were away at Huddersfield. It was a local derby. It's a couple of points off us. So, that's football, especially the Championship. You can get any one team, doesn't matter where they're positioned in the league, beating somebody else. So we're fully aware of that. Farke knows it. He knows this league inside out. And that's why we'll be prepared for it and we'll win. So I'm going for a 2-0.
2-0. Yeah, I'll go for a 2-1.